checking that contraption of mine to see how that is working, protecting the cucumber vine, and it is going great so far. No leaves are missing, no new leaves are missing, and the cucumber vine seems to rebounding quite well. Good evening, guys. Welcome back to the Caribbean. I warmly welcome you, and I also welcome you to my container garden here in Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Abby, and like I said before, welcome. Guys, today I'm super duper excited. We have a bit of harvesting to do, just a tiny bit, but I'm mostly excited to continue this preservation or canning journey that I'm on, and I'm excited to share it with you. Right now, it's guava season. Guavas are all over the place, and a friend of mine told me to come by and pick guavas, and we did that actually a couple of days ago, and we need to put those guavas up in the form of jam. So far we have canned 6 cans of jam, and the children, they're loving it. They cannot wait till we crack open the first jar, because in comparison to what we bought from the store, there's none. There is none. The comparison is just non-existent. So the children, they're super duper excited, waiting for that moment that we can eat the things that we canned ourselves. And that's what this is all about. It's all about teaching them that they too can do this on their own, and they don't have to buy every single thing. And I'm so glad that I found the lids for those jars that I had. I was searching for quite some time. At one point, I had a good bit of those jars, and I didn't seem to be finding the lids. And I finally found them, but the sad thing is I actually got rid of half of those jars because I didn't have anywhere to store them. But on this life, there's a way, and we can always replenish those jars. I'm sure I'm gonna ask friends who usually throw them out, hey, you have any, send some my way, so that we can continue on this canning journey. And the reason why I want to do it that way is because I ordered 12 mason jars from online, and it was quite expensive, guys. The jars themselves were cheap, but the shipping, the freight, the shipping and handling was just, it killed me. So it's just not practical to order in those things. So without too much said, let's just get picking with what's outside here. We're losing light. As you can tell, it's late in the evening. The moon is out, and it's actually cooler. The evenings are getting cooler. The water, when you open the pipe, actually has a chill to it, and I welcome the change in the temperatures a lot. I don't know about you, but we're enjoying the actual change in the climate. It's still hot during the day, but in the evening it's drastically cooler. So behind me here I have a pawpaw. As you can see, you guys remember when this pawpaw struggled, when it was raining non-stop. This pawpaw tree dropped practically majority of the leaves. Look at it now. It's so good to be patient with your plants. I nearly chopped this thing down, but I'm so glad that I left it, because look, all the fruits that was on it is ripening, and I'm getting fruit from in my yard instead. I'm getting some pawpaw. And look, guys, look at the container it's in. It's probably 1.5 feet deep, and about 3 feet wide. So 1.5 feet deep, and the width of it is about 3.5 feet, guys. And the pawpaw is growing in it. The cucumber is growing in it. I got some amaranth in there. I'm gonna put in some sweet peppers in there. I attribute or contribute this success of that container to the fact that I'm doing my own composting right here in the yardstead. Composting all I can from the chicken bedding that is there available to me. The plants, as you can see, they lack nothing. So if you have access to your own animals, practice composting. It, first of all, it saves you a great deal of money, and second of all, the plants will thank you immensely for it. Now as you guys know, struggling with the spider mites. I'm actually seeing a little light. I actually used some elbow grease and I came out and I washed every leaf of majority of my plants. I have some other plants to do as well, but I use soap, water, and my hands, guys, and I gently wash the leaves of a lot of my plants. And look, guys, they're thanking me. They're thanking me, and I am thanking myself for taking the hard way and coming out here at night rubbing down these leaves. So I'm just gonna pick these fruit and we will meet each other inside in the kitchen. We're gonna process up these guavas together. And just keep in mind, Caribbean people, I am just trying to invigorate in you that you can your own goods. Guava jam, as simple as it sounds, in the last 2 years it has a 100% inflation. So it used to be $10, right now it is $19 for a jar of jam in the groceries. And these are things that we can get locally. It grows on the side of the road, it grows everywhere. So if you could get your hands on your own fruit, you can up your own jams. You don't have to buy everything. The light disappears so fast now. So guys, I'm just picking these few pimentos off of the So we have quite a bit of guavas there that was in the fridge. My whole fridge smells like guava. Not a bad thing, but you know, nobody likes that. So I'm gonna wash these up and get them all chopped up and blended up, and then I would share the recipe with you that I am going to be using. It is from our trusty, we used to call it the Naparima Girls Cookbook, but it's now the Multicultural Cuisine of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a really good recipe. You have Chinese, Indian, all kinds of ethnicities and cultures. They make the dishes in this book and I love it. So I'm going to do as I said. I'm going to wash up these guavas and emulsify them, blend them, strain them, and then I'll pick you guys back up and I will share with you the recipe. So these guavas, they look green, but they were quite ripe, guys. In fact, they were overripe. I left them in the fridge too long. But I'm washing them up here and I'm chopping them up so that the immersion blender can pulse it easier. And they aren't a very sweet guava. So if you have guavas that are not sweet, you can still use and get a delicious jam. Knowing that the scent of the guava jam cooking would raise the appetites of the family, I decided to get going on some bread making. And you would notice that I didn't put any fats in my dough. I have to make my breads like this because I don't have a gallbladder, and when I use too much fat I actually feel ill. So I tend to put the olive oil on last, and then, you know, it works out. You'll see how the bread turns out. So at this point I pulsed that guava and you can see it turns into a nice pulp. Some people like to cook the guava first and then send it through the sieve, but I find that that's just removing too much nutrients, and I'm not really particularly interested in having a super smooth guava jam. So I'm removing the seeds, and in fact I'm keeping all this pulp because there's so much pulp left on the seed. I decided to use that pulp to make juice with what was remaining in the strainer, and it turned out really beautiful. It was a lovely drink. So I'm gonna wash off all the pulp with the strainer, with the measuring cup. All of this I'm just gonna use to make some guava juice. My husband should be home soon, so I want to get it all mixed up and put in the fridge so it's nice and chilled when he gets back. So if you see right here, guys, it's so much flesh, so much pulp is on that still. I'm going to use this to make a nice guava juice, so when he gets home he will have a nice drink waiting for him when he reaches home. Guava is very high in vitamin C. I'm just gonna tease this up a little. Use all this goodness, not let it go to waste. So you can see how much pulp is in that water. It was really hard to get out all the pulp, but I'll just use it in a drink and it will be easier to strain out this way. Good, so we got two things so far. We got a drink, a guava drink for later, and we have the pulp to start the guava jam. So let's get started on the guava jam. So I'm going to highlight the recipe for you. So in this book on page 241, it has the guava jam recipe right here. And it's basically saying for every cup of pulp, you're going to use a half cup of sugar. You're going to put the pulp and the sugar in a clean saucepan and boil until the consistency of jam, and then bottle in a sterilized jar. And that's it. Just the pulp, sugar, boil it. When it gets the consistency of jam, then we will jar it up. And that's it. So I'm going to measure Jazzy will give you a piece, right? I'm going to measure out my pulp so I would know how much sugar I need. Okay guys, so I'm going to stop at 12 cups of pulp because the last time I did jam I had 10 cups of pulp and it gave me 6 jars respectively. So I'm just going to put the rest of the pulp here in Ziploc bag and freeze it measure it out in 2 cups, and I would bag it for juice making in the future. That's 4 cups, 6 cups of sugar. So the breads have risen, and as it rises, that olive oil actually works into the dough and is incorporated rather well on the inside of the dough. So at this point, the jam is smelling and people are saying, "Mama, hungry." So I've decided at this point to do a quick bake on the stove top. This is what we call roast bake. Some may call it tower bake, but that's what I did. I took a piece and I'm using this plate to help me mold it in a good shape, good circle, and I will rest this on the stove top. After this, I'm going to be trying to get at least 9 loaves of or 9 buns. So the rest I'm going to shape out into what we call hops locally, or what you will call hamburger buns otherwise, or just buns, whatever you want to call it. But that's what I did with the rest of the dough, and I covered that down and I let that re-proof while I'm doing the quick bake for the children on the stovetop. So the bake is doing good at this point, so I just have to flip it over. It's a little bit more overdone than I would like it to be, so I just put some butter and I flip it over and lower the fire. So now I'm going to focus on this mess on the other side. I had to turn off the fire under the jam and get all that jam cleaned up before I can restart boiling that pulp. Just in case you're wondering why I'm wrapping the pot with the foil, I'm using that as a way of containing all the splatter from those bubbles when the pulp bubbles, because sometimes the kids, they're passing or they come by me, and safety first, so I just put that there in order to contain all the splatter from the boiling. So you see how this bake is looking on the side. That is what I wanted on the other side, but this side turned out way better. And now I'm doing the sides of the bake, because if you don't do that, then you will get that raw dough taste on the sides. So just searing the sides of the bake to finish cook it is just to complete it. Next up is to put up the remaining pulp as pulp with juice. So I put it in smaller size Ziploc bags, measuring 1 cup. One was 1 cup and the other 1.5 cup. In the previous batch of jam making, I have a whole lot of pulp remaining, and that is what we can also tap into to making fresh juices for ourselves throughout the year. Guys, so this is the end product. This is the jam. I wish I had three hands, I don't. Where if you try and hold everything, where you put a line through it and hold it on the side, and if it doesn't drain, it has set. So the jam has set, and this is how it looks. So delicious. So delicious. Now my pans, my jars have cooled, and so I need to warm back up my jars in order to jam it. I'm tired, guys. I need to warm back up my jars so that I can can them with the hot jam. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this burner back on so I could get the water to boil so I could warm back up my jars. I am done, guys. I was able to put up the jam for the end of this year into the next year. I have 12 jars of guava jam, homemade guava jam, 3 ingredients: guava pulp, oh, just 2 ingredients: guava pulp and sugar. And guys, the quality of this jam is next to none. All the nutrients, all the flavors in this jam is magnificent. And so I'm proud of myself for being able to, designate time and effort to can up my own jam that should last us throughout the year of 2025, most of the year of 2025. Well, until the next guava season. So guys, I want to encourage you. We have so many fruit trees out there in the Caribbean that most of the time we see them falling, the fruits falling on the floor, and nothing being done with it. But yet we are in the groceries buying these same things. So if you can forage from your neighbor, from a tree that's a random one on the street, do that, guys, and just experiment with it. You won't be disappointed. I'm telling you guys, this journey is going so good so far. And so I want to encourage you that it is possible. You don't have to break the bank, because like I said earlier, I did buy some mason canning jars. They're still there on under hidden, and they were quite expensive to get. But you can use these same jars from the grocery store. That all you need to do is to get the new lids for your own canning purposes. Now this one's still a little bit warm. This is an older lid, but I'm keeping these ones in the fridge because I didn't have any more jars, and I still wanted to try and see if I could get it sealed. If it doesn't seal, so be it. But you can do that as well. This one's sealed really good. Yeah, so just try, guys, a little at a time, and you can get it done. You can check out that website. I'm going to link it down below, natpuna.com, and you can also check out on Amazon. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share it with your friends and family. If you enjoyed it, most likely that they will enjoy this too. A lot of people need encouragement in this area. They're so scared, but there's nothing to be scared about. Once you follow the principles, the guidelines, everything will be fine. So take care, guys. See you in the next one. Oh, and if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing. Hit that subscribe button, and let's continue to learn from each other. See you guys. Bye. Look at this. Delicious. So good.